Hello and welcome back to the Remembering Tuscola webcast. I'm David Porter. I'm here with B1 and B2, Mike Carroll, Judge Mike Carroll, and Principal Bill Englehart, both retired local community leaders and historians and old people.
Yeah.
So
I think you got us nailed now, bud.
You got it now.
I cover everything.
Yeah, we got to get this over quick. I got a Meals on Wheel coming here in about 10 minutes.
Well, you're hard to pin down anyway because you're a judge, a lawyer, an artist, a singer, once upon a time, and
Renaissance man.
Renaissance man. Yeah, a sculptor, painter, and Bill. I don't know what Bill does. But he's
Bill holds the golf clubs for the great one.
Yes.
very
Yeah.
well, and Bill golfs, and he's a retired principal, intellectual, reads a
Yeah,
lot,
there you go.
well read.
And he golfs. Did we mention he golfs?
You
Yeah,
know, I
we
read
mentioned
the whole series, every John Sanford book during the pandemic.
Wow. That's intellectual heavyweight stuff.
That's a lot of pages.
Well, I've got three books ready in the other room. I haven't even started coloring in one of them yet. So,
David.
well, what's going on? Anything before we get to
Well, K Pasa, what's your pasa? What's going on, Bill? Grandkids?
Well, grandkids, a lot of ball games and whatnot. I'm watching with great interest some things in golf.
You think money talks?
Yeah, you think money talks?
Money
Well,
talks, bullshit walks.
that's the truth.
Wow. Well, Bill and I are both devastated. The PGA, it's traditional golf is like they just hoard themselves like everybody else.
The commissioner of the PGA Tour, Jay Monahan,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
he could walk in the door now and say, I'd give you a $5 bill. And I'd say how much it's going to cost me to buy the $5 bill.
Think of all these guys that stuck with the PGA. Tiger Woods turned down 500 million. Roy turned down 200 million. They look like idiots now. It's like people that paid off their college loan. They look like idiots.
You know, the Saudis offered this big soccer player coming to Miami.
Ronaldo.
They offered him 300 million.
He gets 100 million a year. Highest paid athlete in the world.
Wow.
Ronaldo.
Don't you think his legs would wear out?
How come they don't hire you and I?
I don't know.
well, because they
We have a contract.
Am I not paying you enough?
Yeah,
We have a
right.
contract with David, so I've got to honor that.
Non-disclosure.
Right. We have a non-disclosure agreement, so you can't say, but you're tied up, you're obligated, and they can't compete anyway.
You know, the only person on that told the truth about that whole thing on LIV was Harold Varner.
Yeah.
And he said, come on. He said, the money.
Well,
He said, I took it for the money for my family.
well, what's his name said it also. The lefty that won the Masters.
Oh, Bubba?
Bubba said he took it for the money,
Yeah.
for the future.
Well, just tell the truth.
Yeah. Let's just tell the truth, right?
Yeah, we do this for the money.
For example, it's just too much work. It's easier to throw all that stuff away, right, David?
That's right.
Easier to throw away than to try and arrange a sale or anything. Yeah, just be honest. People get in more trouble trying to avoid looking bad.
Yeah. Okay, we're ready.
We're ready to go.
Ready?
Yeah, we're in a good mood today.
We'll look at we'll see what we can do to change that. No,
Get us some 1920, 1930 stuff back when I was young.
yeah.
Oh,
I try to get a little bit of a mix here.
That's Les Sluter's cross country team.
And Ben Sluter at the
Ben
other end.
Sluter, yeah. And there's Fabio.
Isn't that the Leonard boy, I believe?
Well, let's go bottom row. Left to right.
This is tough.
You get the first two rows.
You know, honestly, I don't think I can. I mean, there's a boy in there named Reynolds in the second row, middle row, second from the right. I think his name was Gage Reynolds. I just can't tell if that might be John Seibold here on the end.
I think second row left is Johnny Seibold, who's a lawyer now. And he has some girls on the team down here.
Yeah, they had some girls running cross country, but I can't tell who they are.
Who's the guy with the six-pack abs? Looks
I
like
wanted to say it was Nick Leonard, but
Nick Leonard.
maybe I'm wrong.
It's like he lives in a tanning booth.
And the tall boy next to him in the black shirt, I just can't recognize. But that's Coach Les Sluter and his cross country team.
That's his son Ben at the opposite end.
Opposite end. Okay.
Okay. I've got some names here.
Really?
Gina Mazel says cross country team fall 1991. Back row Ben Sluter, Nick Leonard, Scott Harned, Jeff.
That's Scott, yeah.
Jeff. She says Winamp. I'm not. Maybe a typo.
Winans? Jeff Winans, maybe?
Jeff Winans,
Probably could be.
Winans.
Got a misspelling. Coach Les Luter, middle, John Seibold, John Seguin.
Oh, John Sigmund. He's a lawyer.
Question mark, Sean Robinson. Front row, Gina O'Brien, Crystal Carter, question mark, Nancy Albin, and Shanna Reynolds.
Nancy Albert should have got her.
We should have got her, should have got Gina, actually. Regina ended up as an Air Force captain or something or the other. I just talked to Scott Harned at Bruce Weatherford's, his father-in-law's 80th birthday. Scott's married to Lacey. They live down in St. Louis area.
Lacey.
Weatherford.
John Seibold says Gage Reynolds next to Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Smith says she's between Crystal Carter and Nancy, and Gage is next to Sean. Gage got taller after that year. And John Seibold says likely the greatest cross country team in the history of TCHS. Just ask us.
Yeah, just ask you. John, you better read the paper.
Don, they got some boys now that are motoring out there every day. They got some All-Americans out there now.
So, well, he went to the Mike Carroll School of bragging on your own class.
I will say this: some very successful young people there.
Yeah, got a couple lawyers there, so they're doing something right.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Oh boy, you're throwing a bunch of tough ones at us.
That's right.
In the middle,
Brian.
that's Chris Bryan.
Chris Bryan.
On the right of Chris Bryan is one of the Oakses. I don't know if that's Brett Oaks. On the far left, Jiminy, that looks like, and I should say that's Brad Hornaday, it looks like. Then it looks like Reardon, perhaps. I can't tell who the women are.
Marilyn says she thinks that's Jeff Reardon.
She's the singer.
Country Western national singer.
Big singer.
Who's that?
Reagan Hayes.
On the right.
On the far right.
She wrote the song "I Fell Off Barstool Mountain," and then she. If the phone don't ring, it's me. That was her song.
Name's Christy, isn't it?
Christy Hayes.
Christy Hayes.
Not Reagan.
Not Reagan. Okay.
You're thinking of her cousin.
Yeah. I mean, I've got her on my playlist on Spotify. She's really good.
Yeah.
And Marilyn Moody says she thinks that's Jeff Reardon in the middle, Chris Bryan next to him.
It is. That's Jeff Reardon.
Which one?
It's John's son right here.
Yeah.
In the St. Louis shirt.
The middle is Chris Bryan, though.
Yes, that's Chris Bryan. He's I think he's an engineer with Caterpillar.
Are these going to be old tennis players from the 90s?
No, just a few of them. We're only on picture 3, Mike.
Well, I'm stumped already.
We'll get
Well,
you're stumped on this one.
I've got some of them.
Go ahead.
That is Susan Lake Hayes as a coach, maybe.
Let's slide over, see who the other is.
Yeah, we'd have to slide it to see who the other coach perhaps is. God, that looks like Amy Hall.
I don't think, well, looks like her, but I don't think she taught tennis, did she?
She's not a teacher. She's a player. So that's why she got the racket. I see in the back, the boy between the first two boys in the first row. That's William Shue, maybe Wade. Josh Irwin's in the black.
Fourth one from the front.
Fourth one's from the front. That's Stephen Benner next in the middle row. Oh boy. That's Reinhardt next to Stephen. So some of these are class of 97 or so. And that's rare. And I bet Toppy will have something on this because that's her granddaughter back there in the back.
Toppy Moody.
I think so. I think that's her granddaughter.
Kathy Rhodes says Chris Maddox, far right.
Far right. I can't see it.
Slide it over. Yeah.
Chris? I don't think so.
Well, that was her son,
Who said that?
Kathy Rhodes.
It says back row, but she must mean front row because back row far right is a girl.
Yeah. Must not be showing the whole picture.
Well, there's the whole picture.
Okay, tell us who Kathy said.
Christopher Maddox. Make sure I'm on the right picture.
I was going to say,
That would be
that's not Chris Maddox.
That would be her son.
Yeah, but that's not, must be on the wrong, a different
I
picture.
must be on the wrong. Yeah, I'm on the wrong picture.
There you go.
Oh, you threw this as a trick.
Yeah,
we
I
had,
got it.
we had all of them identified and you threw us a curve.
Aaron Smith says that's her in the back with her ugly glasses and Paris University shirt next to Charity Vest. Marilyn
Charity
Moody,
Vest,
Lori
yeah.
Reardon is close to the end on the right side.
Lori, that's Lori. Yeah, I get that.
What threw me off is some of these kids are in more than one picture.
Okay.
So, oops.
Oops.
Yes.
There's Chris Maddox on the right. There's Daryl Waits, the coach.
For some reason, my pictures are out of order. I don't have any names on this one.
Well, Daryl was a good tennis player, I think. Isn't that Daryl?
I believe so. They're away.
He was a good tennis player with Rick Marsh and the gang back in those days.
I'm sorry, I can't identify these kids. The boy on the far left looks familiar. Oh boy, this is a great picture there.
Jester the molester.
That's Chet Keller, my good friend from Villa Grove. In the middle is Mike Kerner, one of the finest guys you'd ever want to know. He's deceased now. You remember when this guy was?
Yeah, he played out here at Savoy all the time. He was Donnie Payne's good buddy out of Champaign.
Yeah, what was his name?
He was a Villa Grove kid and moved to Savoy. Must have been Douglas County.
It was Douglas County,
Open.
maybe.
Kerner wound up winning. Chet won that many times. I won it once. Did you win it?
Yes. Or no, second twice.
Second twice. You want
Chet
to
Keller beat me on one of them.
You want to trade those 2 seconds for my first?
No,
Okay.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
We'll think of that guy's name.
You're okay.
He was
I'll think of his name.
a big shot.
He was a Villa Grove guy that moved, sold grain or insurance or something.
I don't know.
Donnie always said that he had lessons when he was young. It wasn't fair. Actually had golf lessons. Who's going up for the shot, Bill? You probably coached
Can't
her.
tell.
You coached her.
No, can't tell.
Well, Tracy Hornaday tagged Amy Baird. So
Amy Baird?
Would be your sister, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if they're blood and they're identifying it, we're not going to go against blood.
No, we're not going against blood.
Blood's thicker than idiocy.
Oh,
that's
Scott Michener.
Scotty Michener. Played for the Bismarck Blue Boys.
Played for Illinois College.
Illinois College.
And Scott's a good baseball player too. And even better yet, in the classroom. I had him in the classroom. Son of Alan and Marilyn Michener.
Scott sent me a note recently on how much he enjoys these old photos, and he's found his dad and his grandpa and other relatives, and I found a picture of him. So I thought, well, I'll throw that in.
Yeah, the Micheners are deep in Tuscola.
Yeah, very deep.
Deep, deep. There's
Jennifer Erickson on the right, and that's Shelby Best on the left.
and now, does she have a sister named Missy Erickson? Is that Missy?
Oh, Missy or Jennifer? Oh, it's Missy.
Missy Erickson.
It's Missy Erickson,
Right.
who's a volleyball player.
Right.
They
They had really good volleyball.
Really good.
Really good right then, to that era.
Jennifer Erickson was in Brett's class. That's right. It's Missy.
Now, is that Alexander on the right?
Alexander on the right and Becky Sudduth on the left, I believe.
And Alexander's first name was
Aaron.
Yep.
Aaron.
It's Aaron.
Aaron.
Hangman.
Lisa. Is that Lisa or Aaron?
That's Aaron.
Aaron.
And there's the logo behind him that was painted by Bruce Bird of the class of '83, one of the top 5 classes in Tuscola history.
I understand that's going by the wayside.
Is that going by the wayside, David? Do you have any inside dope? Is your famous mural gone?
Well, I heard that, but I heard it from you guys. So I
Well,
don't know.
a good source. So you're saying the rumors, we're asking if that's true and we're the source of the rumor.
You're the source of the rumor, yeah.
Well, that's another small town little thing, isn't it? You start a rumor and a month later, you're asking people if it's true.
Mhm.
Chapel?
That looks like a Robinson. Sean Robinson.
Okay.
That's what I've got.
Boy, we're on it today.
You are.
This is Tuscola swimming pool.
Torpedoes.
Tuscola Torpedo. So not really got the coach there.
Lane 1 is
You know, I feel so bad for the swimming team this
oh
year.
boy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that's too bad about the pump. Would have been a great time to open the pool when it was 90 some
It
degrees.
was so hot.
What's the word? Are they going to get that fixed here in a week or two, David, or is it done for the summer?
Well, no, I think they intend to fix it, but there's
Good.
any water in it right now.
Well, they got to get the pump fixed or get it.
Pump fixed, yeah.
That pump is the original pump from 1950s. That's 70 some years old.
I don't know.
Dave Lure is the coach on the right.
This is Chunk Campbell, upper right-hand corner. First one is, I say Chunk Campbell,
Greg.
Greg Campbell, I believe.
Mark Calmore has the L on his shirt in the back row.
Fourth one in, fourth
Yeah.
player in.
Oh boy. Funny how people change. Dirk Dietrich is second from the left, kneeling.
Well, you said Mark Kalmar. It's got to be an older Kalmar, because Kalmar, because these guys
yeah.
are older.
Who played with Chunk Campbell at basketball?
Mark was younger. Well, it looks like a Calmar, doesn't it?
I don't know if anybody played with that era.
Is that Frank? No, Frank's younger.
Frank would be younger.
This is probably class of 79.
80, maybe.
Yeah.
They're 12 years old there. The manager of the team, I bet, is a Gangloff.
Now, this guy should be. I should know.
That's Cunningham.
It looks like Danny Cunningham. Is that too? Would he have been 90, 89, 90? Bill was 65. There wasn't that much spread, was there? No. Looks like Danny Cunningham.
I'll tell you what, I'm having a hard time with this.
Okay, Brad Taylor provided some names. Didn't know the coach on the left. Didn't know his name. But then he says Colby Decker, Doug Huber, Matt Van Steenhouse, Brad Dixon, Dan Lovecamp, Kerry Ron, Jeff Fruit, Greg Campbell, Dave Lohr, and front row Dwight Dunn, Dirk Dietrich, Danny Cleveland, Phil Kennedy, Dan Cunningham, Mark Oakley, Steve Kalmar, and Andy Gangloff.
Well, we got 9 of them.
I got the Gangloff right.
We got 9 of them.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
You know what? That was really a good athletic group.
Yeah.
That was a very athletic
How many
group.
pictures? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 20. We got 9 of 20. That's
When
not bad.
did Van Steenhouse leave Tuscola? Do you remember?
Probably about 4 or 5 years later,
You know,
probably 85.
Well, look at him. He was height-wise, he and Colby were about the same.
Well, that was that year they had Mark Murray in the 8th grade and Van Steenhouse and somebody else. They were all about 6 foot tall. And they predicted if they kept growing, it'd be the greatest team of all time. And by their senior year, they were still 6 foot tall.
Jeff Fruit grew.
Yeah.
Yeah, something.
And Danny Lovecamp really grew.
Danny Lovecamp here in the middle, good golfer. Used to be the
Good-looking kid.
assistant pro up at Lake of the Woods. Just a nice kid, good athlete.
Some of these guys had brothers my age, but I want to read what else Brad Taylor wrote, and I'll preface
Okay.
it by saying that I concur. He says, I'd like to add Dave Lohr was an awesome man who taught the game of baseball to thousands of Tuscola youth. He never focused on winning or losing, but cared about each kid and the experience they got from playing the game. He was also a great supporter of all Warrior sports. The town of Tuscola was lucky to have him. Thank you, Dave, and may you rest in peace, my friend. You are missed.
Yeah,
That's a nice tribute.
I don't think I've ever heard
Bad.
anyone say a bad word about Dave Lohr.
Yeah.
He's always been approachable, always thinks of others, doesn't brag.
Well, if they ever said a bad word about him in front of me, I'd probably punch him in the nose.
I know, he was just a nice guy.
He was a good guy.
Now, would you punch anybody in the nose and say, is there something bad about Bill or I?
Is that
Wait,
do I have to take that question in totality?
Yeah, to pause that. Well, you
Wait a minute.
You can bifurcate that question into 2 parts.
So, I might if they said something bad about Bill, but no, I would defend you, Mike.
Yeah, I don't care what everybody says. I'd defend you, David.
Yeah, you're the only one.
I don't care what everybody says. I like you.
Uh-huh. What everybody says.
That was a good, I bet that was a really good Little League team too.
Oh, well, Chuck Campbell, for example, was a great football player and was on that team that went to the super sectional with Colby Decker. Got beat on a missed traveling call over in Decatur, I think. Yeah, against Mount Pulaski, where they playing.
Oh, Butkovich's team over there.
Ed Butkovich's team. Just a horrible officiated game.
Well, Dave was my coach in Little League, and
Well, look at Danny. Go back there just for a second. Danny Cunningham. This is 19. What year is this here? This is 1980.
They would have
Graduating
graduated in
team?
80.
Bill graduated in 1966, so Danny was 14 years younger than him.
Dan, yes, he was.
And then he's up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Bill, I think that's the last I heard, and that might have been a long time ago.
yeah, some of these guys were seniors when I was a freshman, but some of them are older.
Well, Gary, Chunk's brother Gary was probably class of 70. Would this be right? Didn't he play football with Randy Hastings in that about
76, 77,
77?
probably.
So he's about 4 or 5 years behind
Yeah.
Gary. Another great athlete,
Yeah.
a good guy. Over in Indianapolis now. Oh, there we go.
Oh, boy.
There's Doug Dietrich, upper left, talking about the Dietrichs.
That coach is Clapp was his name.
Yeah.
A nice fellow. This in the front row, that's Mark Chaplin, who I still call Doug Chaplin.
Let's go to the back row. That's Doug Dietrich. Is that Doug?
Yeah, that's Doug.
And then that's
Don't know.
that Billy Leonard?
No,
Certain?
no.
Okay.
This looks like an Owens back there. This is an Oaks. That's
Back
Dan
row.
Oaks. That's Dan Oaks.
Got to slide over a little bit, David.
Dan Oaks.
That's Sipe.
No, this is Rudy. That's Rudy Huber.
From the right. Third one in from the right. Are you sure?
Yes, this is Kevin Connor on
Kevin
the far
Connor.
right.
Kevin Connor.
I don't know him. I do know Rudy, but you see this face back here in the back? You know who that is? That's Dan Dietrich. That's Butch's brother that died in the fire.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth one over looks like Mark Kleiss in the front row. Is that Mark? Oh, blow that up a little bit. Is
That's his brother.
that Mark? Is
No, that's Andy.
that Andy Kleiss?
But see this kid with his head cocked? Who is that? That's driving me crazy. When I see these.
I bet he's a chiropractor now.
Okay, you have name on this.
I've got some names.
John Clapp is first name of the coach.
Okay.
Grade school basketball. East Prairie.
I'm not sure how she pronounced her name.
Mark.
Marlena Schaefer says class of 73 and a few from class of 74. Front row, Mark Chaplin, Mark Budden, Dan Kahneman.
Oh, that's Danny Kahneman.
Yeah, blow that up just a little bit. Danny Kahneman. There's Danny Cunningham and Danny Kahneman, two great Catholic boys.
And then Andy Kleiss.
Is that Kalmar?
John Kalmar.
John Kalmar.
Rudy Huber, question mark, Kevin Connor. And then you got Rick Escardo, Randy Todd, Steve Owen, Dan Oaks, Herb Phillips, question mark, back row, Doug Dietrich and Rob Meyer. And
Rob Meyer.
then my cousin Joyce says that's Buddy Lucider, Lewsader, next to Herb.
Lucider?
Lucider.
Where's this at?
Well, you know what?
Next to Herb.
See this picture in the background? That's a community building. These guys would have played grade school. When they played grade school at the old Northward where we played.
Rudy Huber says that the heavyweight team says went by your height plus weight to determine. He says Oakley, Connor, and he were seventh graders.
This was, that's the old way of doing it. They would have played at East Prairie.
And Marcy Shoemaker says Coach Clapp.
John Clapp.
John Clapp. Dan Oaks provided the first name. So there's some names. If you didn't catch all that, these are on the Remembering Tuscola Facebook.
These guys are getting old. These guys are getting old.
Yeah, they'll start picking up their medicine in grocery bags like I did today.
Yeah, try to include some different years.
That's good. Oh boy.
I know who this is. This is my first crush.
Is this Phyllis? No.
That's Phyllis.
Phyllis
Phyllis Adams.
Phyllis Adams.
And that's Eric.
Oh, he hasn't changed a bit.
No, he still wears a diaper.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
he doesn't.
Eventually he will again.
Phyllis at the pool. I'll be darned. That's a great picture.
This is probably before I knew him because I think Eric was 3 when they moved in on my block where I lived, and so this would be before that. So yeah, that's Phyllis. My wife said she ran into her the other day at the grocery store. So
Yeah.
Great shot.
yep.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. I can get all these.
Go ahead.
Sharon Marsh, runner-up. Pam Preston, Miss Tuscola 65. Ann Ferguson, Miss Tuscola 64. William Rogers, Master of Ceremony. How'd I do?
You did real well. Sharon Marsh, class of
That's your class.
66.
That's your class.
The
66.
other two girls were 65.
Pam and Ann were
And,
part of the greatest class alive of 65.
yeah.
Pam's out in Santa Fe, I think, New Mexico, selling real estate. And married
Jim Monahan.
captain of the Notre Dame basketball team, Jim Monahan. They should be back up from Florida. They live down Alway Maria in the winter.
I just talked to Tim earlier today. He said he just got back from Florida, been down there about 3 months.
Yeah, I think all of them except for Joe, I think they all have a house at Alway Maria outside Naples.
Well, Pat must not have been down there because he's busy trying to build a broom palace.
Pat is gathering up broom corn to build a broom palace. He's got a new idea. All he needs is money.
Yeah. About several 100,000.
650,000. He's already raised it, he says, and
Well, Libman's will probably pay for it.
Libman, he said, has committed 200,000 toward it. And I tell you what, if Pat Monahan is an idea person, and if he wants it, it generally gets done.
It gets done.
Yep. That looks like Bill Esco. Looks like Bill Esco, motorman on the electric locomotive.
That's down in the mines.
That's where your dad worked, David.
Yeah, this was before he worked there.
Man, that's dangerous. I have claustrophobia. I just cannot imagine being that far down the earth in a little hole.
I left these, the ones that had captions, I left on for you.
Well, that helps us a little bit, but Bill can't read, so I get a jump on it.
All right, and these are from the journal's picture pages.
Yeah, that was
talked about.
That was a great insert. Phil White had this wonderful insert. High quality photos.
So a lot of these pictures came from those.
Yeah. Well, that of course is the life board.
And who's standing next to the life board?
That's Joe Life.
Maybe I don't know if anyone's.
So is that the way the coal mine kept track? If your tag's not up there at the end of your call, you're probably lost in the mine.
They can tell where each miner is at any given time. You're supposed to keep track of where you're going to be, and so they know who's down there and who's not.
David, did your dad ever talk about how dangerous or claustrophobic that was down the mine, or did they just, a job was a job and you had to do it?
He never complained about that. I went down there one time and took some pictures. We had some of those pictures already.
I don't think I'd take a tour of a mine, would you?
No, I don't believe so.
You'll find in some of these pictures, some of the local businessmen did take a tour.
Oh, yeah.
Well, obviously the photographer, but Bill McCarty's in one of the pictures. So
That looks like Bill Cook.
That is Bill Cook. Upper left-hand corner is William Cook. I dated his beautiful daughter, Glenda.
Is that one time or
No, no. No, I was just probably a freshman or sophomore, and I didn't know anything about dating. I still don't know anything about dating, but Bill set me straight. He said, the movie's over at 10:30. I expect you home at 10:34. And I asked Glenda why he was so strict, and she says, well, he remembers what he did in high school when he dated. There's Johnny Chapman there in the middle.
Johnny Chapman, that's
there's your good friend Bill Sargent.
Bill Sargent, my mentor.
This is, oh,
Oh, God.
oh,
Jim Hunt.
Jim Hunt. Who's the gal? See if I can read that.
American Legion Awards. Oh, that's Kim Dillon, Kim Lytle.
This says the award went to James Douglas Lee
Was that Jim Lee?
and
That is. Oh,
God, it looks like Johnny Chapman.
we
and
apologize.
Kimberly Ann Dillon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, Jim
I'm sorry.
Lee.
I'm sorry, Jim.
Kim?
It does look like Jim now.
I've never
Where's
seen
Jim?
Jim with a fur haircut. That's probably what threw you off.
Well, he looks just like Johnny Chapman
Looks
did.
like he's going bald.
Well, he's a lawyer too, and it takes a big toll on your brain. Bill Sargent looked good and young there, didn't he?
Yeah. Good guy. Good best.
Yeah, who's announcing?
Boy. What's this all about? This
Well,
is in East Prairie Gym because I see the old banner between these newspaper articles, whatever they
Well,
are.
this is that Esquerdo Steve Owen group, I think.
one says basketball awards and the other says track awards. I don't think the names are in the order of the picture.
I see Steve S. Anderson there, Rick Smith, Mike Meyer, Greg Skuda.
Some of those guys are mentioned. Rudy Huber, Scott Flesser.
Ellie Weber's in there somewhere.
We should be able to pick out Scott Flesser.
Yeah.
Ought to be able to pick out Rudy Huber too.
There's a Mick kid, isn't it, right there? Mick.
There's no guarantee that everybody listed is in the picture.
Yeah. Not necessarily.
Bruce Rogers is in there somewhere. Randy Todd, Mark Budden, Dan Oaks, Dan Cunningham's in there again. Let's see if we see Danny Cunningham.
Well, he may not be in there. This might be the other, see, that's seventh grade, eighth grade on top.
Let's go down again, see if we can tell who that is.
You know what? I do think I see one I recognize.
I would say that's a Mick right there, Ted Mick's boy.
I think,
What was his name?
Well, it says there's Dan
Steve-
Kahneman. Would he be the one with his head crooked again like he was?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's Steve Mick, Ted Mick's boy. He had two good athlete boys. This is wow. There we go. There's Steve Mick. I don't see Dan Cunningham so far.
Well,
I don't
Mike
see.
said-
you got me.
Well,
That's not the basketball team.
well, that's the team they played. The Murdoch
Miners. They played the Miners that year.
Yeah,
Um,
they had a smothering defense.
this is I think this is a kind of a cool Americana picture. Let me see if
I bet it was a great feeling to come up out of the bottom of that shaft and open up to the sun and the wind and the air. They're all smiling. They're all smiling.
they are smiling. Yeah, they're happy to be done with work, probably.
They're happy to be up out in the air.
My favorite movie,
That's old Sidney Rippon, I think.
one of my favorite movies, How Green Was My Valley, 1941.
Yeah, Roddy McDowell
Yeah.
and Walter Pigeon and Maureen O'Hara.
He said he had been mining for 51 years, started at the age of 11. Back in the old days, especially on Depression era, the kids would go with their dads to the mine and pick coal out of the rock piles,
Mhm.
and they'd pay them. I came across a collection of union certificates, and one of them had started at the age of 5.
So David, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I donated that certificate to the UMWA over in Springfield to put on display.
So David,
Hmm.
is coal mining done?
If it's not, it's close to it.
As they decarbonize America? I mean, even if they realize that we can't make it on wind and solar, the answer's got to be nuclear. It's not coal, or is it? I mean, coal's definitely, you have to have oil for all kinds of stuff to make asphalt stuff, and nuclear is a solid backup. But is coal gone as a?
Coal's on its way out, and coal is, of course, not a renewable resource, but we only have about 500 years worth of coal in this under this country, and there, there's some would argue there's no such thing as clean coal, but I think through coal gasification you can capture the byproducts and keep them out of the atmosphere. But the biggest problem is there's such an abundance of carbon dioxide, which is greenhouse gas. You have to store it underground, and it's that's a big issue. If you're gonna take the
Well, you gotta find a spot to store it. And I know one of the reasons Tuscola was a finalist for a carbon recapture plant was the limestone cave formations that we had sucked all the water out of, made a perfect place for storage. But if that stuff breaks through and comes to surface in heavy concentration, it can kill you. So it had risks to it.
There are risks. I wish there was a way to, technology to
there was 60 Minutes did show a carbon capture plant that actually runs it through filters and stuff, and actually physically captures it in these filters, and then it's a solid. And I guess they bury it somewhere. I don't know what they do with it.
Well, if they could find new products for it, like turn it into insulation for homes or something like that. There's just carbon dioxide is used in soda pop. Well, that would take about 0.1% of the carbon dioxide produced from coal. So it's there's just so much of it that storing it is a problem.
Young kids should watch us. This is like Mr. Science. Don't you think young kids would learn a lot by listening to you and I?
I bet. Yeah, they would.
Because we are the kings of trivia.
I've written a lot about the coal industry because about a fifth of the coal in the country is in Illinois.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of good paying jobs. My dad was a coal miner, and so Southern Illinois especially has been really hurt by the loss of coal mining jobs.
Boy, it sure has.
They all came north to USI.
They're ready to go home. They look
I
happy.
would say this is about 1966.
I would say March looks like March 31st.
Yeah.
You can tell from the weather and the coats.
Mm-hmm.
They got all washed up out of the wash room.
I'm guessing that's a GMC truck behind them.
I've got one of those buckets somewhere.
Boy.
Yeah, of course I didn't know how many or if any of these guys were Tuscola guys. Of course, the mine was at Murdoch. There were two mines there. The Murdoch mine and then the number 5 mine.
The Stollers on the left, that's a familiar name to
you know what? That's who that golfer is. Remember the third golfer with that was Chris Sollers.
Chris Hollers. Hollers.
Hollers.
Yes, you're right, but it
Hollers.
wasn't Sollers, it was Hollers.
I know. See how that name association gets us right there.
Boy, I tell you, we snapped on that, didn't we?
Are we quick, David, or what?
Is Bill hollering at you?
Bill's sollering at me.
He's hollering at you?
The Sollers, I think that name's a Newman name.
That's an old Newman name.
Raymond Sollers and his wife Nadine ran the tavern on the south side of 36.
So David, just look at these miners, and my question is, would young kids go into coal mining today?
A lot of them that I know would not.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing this was the old mine because I think the new mine was newer than 1966.
And you can tell from their clothes, every mine picture we've seen, you can tell from their clothes and their face that they sucked in a lot of coal dust,
Well, they did, and
caused a lot of damage.
the laundromat in town had separate washers for coal miner clothes
Hmm.
because it's hard on washing machines.
Most old time miners had a cough. You can just tell. There's Larry Christine on the left.
That is.
Is that the mighty Kreskin?
What's he doing down in the mine?
Well,
Touring. They took
Touring.
a group of businessmen down.
Who's the middle guy? It's not.
He's an actual miner, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, that's Larry Christine. He doesn't have a speck of dust on him. And Larry says, "Boy, oh boy, am I glad Bill McCarty hired me."
Some of them put their names on their
That's old Jeffers from Newman. That's a Newman name.
I don't know if that one's got.
That's old Star Cluster, Jay.
They would put stickers on their helmets and
Yeah.
write their
Anything,
names.
anything to brighten the day.
Well, those stickers, it became like trading cards, where they trade stickers back and forth and collect
Yeah.
different ones. There you can see a sticker on a helmet.
Look at that gold. There's Bill Cook on the right again. See that look?
Man, that looks
Slide
like
that
you
over.
got.
Slide that over.
Yeah,
I think it was my third date with Glenda. They had me over for Sunday dinner, and
that's a look.
I looked up from the mashed potatoes and the peas, and that look was staring at me, and I thought, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. He said, before I allowed you to date Glenda, I called Coach Buckovich, and he said you were a nice kid.
Hmm.
What Bucko know? That's Jim Craddock on the left there.
That's.
I was gonna say, can you name these, Mike?
Dad.
Another Newman family. Arlie Hall. I see Arliss Hall. Wow. There you go. There's that Lesko guy again.
Two less goes.
You know, we had. They must be brothers. You know, there was a boy in Caleb's class named Lesko. And then Dean Vanderveer.
Arcola name, isn't it? Well, there's a Vandeventers in Newman too.
This Vanderveer.
Vanderveer, that's Newman. Vandeventer is Arcola.
Well, it could be a Villa Grove name.
We're
Both
looking
miners
for.
lived in Newman and Murdoch.
Well, Villa Grove, some. We're looking for.
I'd say Lesko's owned the mine.
They did. It's called the Lescoville. They called it.
Yeah, there's another Lesko.
This is before they went down in the hole. This is the before picture.
Yeah, they're not dirty
They're
yet.
they're clean as a whistle. There was Bill McCarty, and there's Orville Fry, and then there's Larry Christine on the right, and
So,
they visited the mine.
now we're back at the pool. Crickets. See if I got any names on this one. Nope, I don't have any comments on that one.
Hmm.
See if you know one here.
Well, that's Bill laying down there. He's tired.
Passed out.
Who's the gal? We should know
Well,
that gal.
yeah, we have to blow that up just a hair.
Blow the gal up a little bit if you can.
Rudy Huber asked if that's Kit Kahneman.
Well, it's cute. It's cute like Kit.
And I figured you would know.
The guy laying on the beach.
Go
there.
down to the guy in the beach towel, the beach swale. That is like Matt Morey or somebody.
Nah. Don't know. Trying to identify.
Orville Fry.
Orville Fry. Nice pants.
Yeah, he went to work like that. He was a dandy.
I think this is probably old fashioned days.
Yeah.
More
Oh,
pictures.
boy.
So with the pool being closed right now, I'd show some pictures of what people are missing, but also how crowded it was in the
Oh, it was in the 50s.
50s and 70s. And
They built in the 50s when USI came. In the 60s, it was a very, very popular place. Well used.
Yeah.
this is the baby pool.
Oh, interesting.
These are all yours, Bill.
In the back, number 55, that's a Hanners, class of 97. 54 is Brittany Wilson. Sometimes I just get lost on these. 40, 43. Gosh, wow. That's that's God, I can see her mother and I can't name her. Second row, starting on the left, that's Tanya Poindexter. I forget who's next. 42 is Kim Kremetsky. Next to her is Aaron Hettinger. 24 is Jamie Hindman. 23, I can't place. 40, I'm having a hard time seeing that. 31 is Tony Lewis in the front row. 33 has to be, it looks like a Payne. 22, I just sat at a ball game at Bloomington with her the other night. Amber Boswell, Aaron and Susie's daughter. She's, her son plays with our grandson, same team. That's Allison Bronca.
Allison Bronca.
And I can't see if that's Casey Clifford or not. I can't tell who 34 is. You got some names?
Well, Bill and I got most of them.
Oh, I think you got, I got some people tagged, but I think you got most of the ones I had.
But Bill and I nailed that one, Dave.
And that's the last one.
Oh,
no
man.
no more old ones.
Here we are.
Well, that was short.
That was short and sweet.
That flew right by.
It did.
How was the convention this week?
It was good. I just got back this morning. The Tuscola Review took first place for best editorial.
Good for you.
It's the editorial comparing the scoreboards to buying a Lamborghini for a driver's ed car.
That was a wonderful piece you did.
That was.
Yeah, and that was first place.
First place.
Illinois Press Association. Yeah. Did Jenny go to the conference with you?
No, Andrew's moving to Spokane, Washington, so she's been tied up with that. And we thought she was going to be in Washington or Springfield, Missouri, but she ended up not having to go. And so she could have gone, but I didn't sign her up for it because we didn't think she'd be here.
Yeah.
Did you know you were going to win?
I knew I had placed. I didn't know what place I'd gotten.
Yeah. Well, Bill and I would have gone with you. Buy us a meal.
Yeah. It's only $150 per person registration, so.
Well, that's nothing given how much your paper gave for the new scoreboard.
Yeah, that's right.
He always likes to get something in.
I got to get a gig in.
If
I get a gig in, I'm going to get
He's got to get a gig in.
All right. Well, I gotta run, so I'm gonna say.
Aren't you having fun? Aren't you having fun?
I am, but
hey, it's Friday. Friday's the day you got nothing to do.
well, I got something to do today, so we'll see you next week on Remembering Tuscola podcast.